We have a baby on the way and no nursery, so we need to turn this laundry room / mudroom into the baby's room fast. We've never done a project like this, framing an entire room from scratch, but with a little DIY magic, we'll make it happen in time for our baby girl's arrival.
We are finally going to tackle the nursery. I am 7 months pregnant. So it's time. But what's the plan here? What is this room? This room is currently a mud room. That is an exterior entrance, which obviously we can't have in the baby's room. This is also our laundry room. Currently, the camera is sitting on top of our dryer. What do you think, Brucey boy? A couple things we need to do right away. Obviously, get everything out of here. This needs to go because once we frame out the room, that's no longer gonna fit. Very sad for Bruce because this is where he sits right up here and looks out the window. And then all just this random stuff, this chair that our dogs love to sit on, this random little dresser with all of my like lights and everything that I have over there. Hello, there's that mirror. And then the washer and dryer. And if you're wondering like, well, where are you gonna put your washer and dryer? We have laundry hookups downstairs in the basement in the other space that we've been working to remodel. And we wanted to get that done before starting on this space so we could move our laundry down there. So it's all gonna work out.
We taped off the dimensions of the room, but also needed to make sure that the stud placement in the existing walls works with our new walls.
If you haven't followed us on Instagram yet, you probably don't know about Shelly. This is not our cat. Shelly is a stray who showed up maybe like a week ago, and she is pregnant. And we are not in a place to take on kittens right now, but she's very sweet, very friendly. I'm working on finding a foster who can take her because nobody in our area seems to know where she came from. I just assumed she was like a barn cat who, I don't know, wandered away to find a better life, or she was dumped or something, but she's just hanging out. And we're not ready to have a cat nursery. We're still working on the human nursery. We named her Shelly because she has tortoiseshell fur. Very clever.
3/4 of an inch.
We thought about building the wall in the garage first and then bringing it inside, but decided it would just be easier to do it in the room itself. So we laid everything out, nailed the studs into the top and bottom plates. We used a laser level throughout this process to make sure that our framing was plumb and in line with the existing stud, again in the existing wall. We then used screws to attach the wall and the bottom plate. Since our ceiling is vaulted, Cole decided it would be easier to build the top half of the wall separately instead of trying to build it all as one.
Are you supervising? You're such a good girl. You're such a good girl. What are you doing up there, little girl? What? Oh, honey. Update on little Shelly. She disappeared for like 24 hours and came back this morning just in time for a rescue group to reach out and tell me that they found a foster for her. So we're saying goodbye to the sweet little girl so she can go have her babies in a comfortable space. Yeah, it's sad. She's so sweet. And somehow she looks even more pregnant than she did 2 days ago. If I wasn't also pregnant, would consider keeping her here until she has her babies, but I just don't think I can handle having a human baby and kittens at the same time. What are you doing, sweetie? You ready to go to a good home? Shelly's gone.
Bye, Shells.
After the first wall was done, we moved on to the second one. This one was a little trickier since we planned to put the door in this wall. Once that was finally done, Cole rerouted some electrical so we'd be able to have the proper number of outlets and a switch-operated light in the nursery.
Are you pleased?
Yeah. I'd rather it be a tight fit than a loose fit.
Once the framing was done, we started hanging drywall on the outside of the room.
If you're wondering why I put the drywall screws in and not Cole, it's because he has a tendency to put too much force into it and break the paper.
And we're not using like a drywall screw gun. We're literally using like this little tip that's supposed to help. So you just have to be very delicate.
During this process, we learned that insulation actually isn't necessary for internal walls, but since this is going to be a baby's room, we figured that we'd want to soundproof it a little bit. You can see we also added blocking for fire safety.
So the big concern, once this room is an actual nursery, is what is going to happen to Luna's orange chair. This is her chair, as you can see. What do you think, pretty girl? You're embarrassed? It's okay. It's okay. We'll find a spot for it. The last piece of drywall.
Good song.
Yay!
Drywall hanging's done.
Yeah, the paper ripped up there, but I think we'll be able to fix it with just a light coat of mud. It's kind of hard to see in here right now. But all the drywall is up. It's time for mudding and taping. Cole is not here right now, so I'm gonna give this my best shot by myself. I did do all of the mudding and taping down in our bathroom, so I have a little bit of experience. And the way I do it is just based off of a YouTube video. Since the last time I did mudding and taping, got quite a few comments from people saying, I have no idea what I'm doing, which I don't know what I'm doing. You're absolutely correct. But as long as we can make it look like I know what I'm doing in the end, that's what matters. That was probably a horrible angle as I was doing the initial coat here. So I'm using paper tape. I used paper tape the last time. I've heard mesh tape is easier, but paper tape is, I don't know, better, more durable. And since I used paper tape the last time I did this, I just wanted to use the same thing so I wasn't like learning how to use a new material. You can see I am not very good. One of the biggest issues that I have remembered is that if you don't put enough moisture in your mud, the tape does not stick properly. So I got better over here, but you can see I have a bubble right here. That's because I did not use enough water when mixing up my mud in here for that first coat. But it's gonna be okay. This is gonna be covered. And obviously there are going to be many more coats on here after this dries. So I'm gonna try to get all of my horizontal joints done this evening with the skim coat, and then we'll move on to corners tomorrow. I sound so out of breath. I don't know why. Probably because I'm quite pregnant. I hope our baby appreciates her hand-built room. Well, it only took me a week, maybe a little bit more than a week. I think a week exactly. But all of the taping and the initial coat is done. All of the inside of the room is done. And all of the outside is done. It was my first time doing an outside corner. And it's not pretty, but it will be. This will all be scraped and filled. So for the next couple coats, I'm using like a quick set mud. The initial coat, like the taping and the initial coat, I use just like an all-purpose drywall compound. Brucey, what? But this is a quick set 45-minute mud, and it's pretty liquidy, a little more liquidy than the first coat, and then my next coat after this will be even more runny. Well, it's a miracle. Like 3 weeks after I started the mudding and taping process in this room, it is finally done, and I'm planning to prime this evening. It has been quite the journey of sanding and mudding and sanding and mudding and sanding and mudding. Maybe not that many times. Well, in some spots about that many times. Is it perfect? No. Is it passable? I think so. This wall where you can see like these stripy things here, this whole wall is going to be covered, and the bottom half of all of these walls are going to be covered. Not that that means I didn't try to do a good job, because I still did, but it doesn't have to be perfect is what I'm saying. Another thing that makes me feel a lot better about my work is the existing walls in here are far from perfect. So I think my job on these walls is actually probably a little bit better than what's going on in the rest of here. Here's what the outside looks like. I know I haven't really shown a whole lot of this. The lighting out here is terrible right now. This is also pretty much done. Might need a little more sanding, but the goal is to get this in here primed tonight. And then this, I just finished the mudding on this last night, so might still need to do some touch-ups out here. We're doing this tonight.
We went with the same wall color that we have in the rest of our upstairs. It's agreeable gray from Sherwin-Williams. The house was painted this color when we moved in, and we figured it was just easiest to keep things the same. Once that was dry, it was time for the beadboard. I think we ended up using 3 total sheets of beadboard and just cut them in half so they were the height that we were looking for.
This, and then, okay, now put the board up against the wall where it's gonna be. This is not, there. Pull it away. That did not work at all. Whoops. I saw this hack on, I think, TikTok where you like, for cutting the holes for the outlets, and it's not working. Like you put tape on the outlet cover and then you put the board up against it and then it sticks to the board and then you trace around it so you know exactly where to cut. Scoot it that way a little. Did it stick? Yay! Not too bad. Wow.
Pretty good.
That's spot on.
We cut and fit everything first before moving on to paint. We chose Mountain Road from Sherwin-Williams for the beadboard. We've used this color before in our guest bedroom, and we really love how it turned out down there. We used our laser level again to make sure that we installed each piece in the correct spot and then just attached them with a nail gun. Then I went in and filled all the nail holes before doing another coat of paint over everything.
We have beadboard up, we have painted, we have built this wall from scratch, and now it's time to tackle the wallpaper. I ordered this wallpaper on Etsy. I have not seen it. It's still in the box. This is definitely like the most anticipated part of our nursery build process because, I don't know, I think it's just really gonna tie the whole room together.
This wallpaper came in 4 separate sheets, and the instructions said to lay it out first on the floor to make sure they lined up, but it was really hard to do that because it just kept rolling up. So we just started putting them on the wall.
All right, this first piece was kind of a complete and utter pain in the butt, but it's on. This light is not flattering, and it looks pretty decent. And hopefully the next few pieces are not as much of a pain now that we have it lined up. This next one will have to be cut around the door a little bit and the outlet. And then from there, hopefully it gets a little bit easier.
I have done peel and stick wallpaper before and it was pretty easy, but that was not the case with this wallpaper. I love the way it looks, but once you stick it to the wall, you are not getting it off. It was not forgiving at all. Pretty much impossible to reposition it once it was on, which definitely added to my stress levels throughout this entire process.
Update on the wallpaper. Things ended abruptly when we were putting it up like a week ago now, I want to say, maybe close to a week ago. We failed miserably at the last panel, which was supposed to go over here. It did not line up correctly. It was most likely user error. It was just really difficult because it was going into this corner and we just couldn't get it to line up. It was all bad. We ended up having to rip it down and it like ripped a bunch of the primer off. The seller on Etsy was able to make another panel and ship it very quickly. I did have to pay for it, but at a discount. So that's awesome. This wallpaper is beautiful and the seller has been super responsive. So very pleased with all of that. Hi, bud.
Once the wallpaper was done, we could add finishing touches like trim and molding.
The wallpaper is done. The beadboard is done. Still a couple nail holes to finish, but this is like really feeling like a nursery now. And today we get to do the fun parts, like putting the crib together, the rocker together, and this room is really gonna start coming together quickly, I think.
We were going to build bookshelves, but I was like, you know what? We're building an entire room, so I think it's okay if we just order some bookshelves on Amazon. So that's what we did, and then our little nursery was finally complete. I absolutely love how it turned out. It's exactly what I envisioned. This video is long overdue. As I'm recording this, our little girl is already a year old, and I can confidently say this room is perfect for her. She loves looking at all the animals on the wall. It's super cozy, functional, and just a space that we're really proud of, especially because we built it. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.